Well, hello, Sifa. You're the only one that seems to be here as of right now. I did share in Discord, so hopefully more people pop in. Hey, Mom First, you made it. Welcome in. How are you? Hey, Michael. You're just getting back from the store. I did the same thing earlier. Hey, Kristen. You're making some dirty rice? We call that rice dressing around here, but I know what you're making. Sounds good. Hope you guys are doing okay. How has y'all's day gone since the last time we talked? What's up, Sifa? I'm doing okay, Mom First. Getting by. Basmati is your favorite. I like jasmine rice. Jasmine is good. Um, yeah, Kristen. So it's a Cajun thing. We have like a lot of places around here that make like smoked sausage and boudin and stuff like that, all the Cajun dishes, and they sell this rice dressing mix that you use with like you can use ground pork or ground beef, and yeah, and then you make like your rice dressing. We usually make it for like a side dish when we barbecue or something like that, but it's really good. It depends on who makes it also, because you don't want it to be too dry out. Like I don't know. So I'm very picky about who eats, like who cooks it. It'll depend on if I'm gonna eat it or not. Probably because like me and Wisco have had this talk. So like New Orleans has like Cajun dishes or cuisine or whatever, but it's more like a Creole type of food. And then like where I'm at, it's like the south southwest dish. I don't know. We have like the real Cajun style stuff. But yeah, I love Cajun food too. You ended up eating tacos for dinner. That's what we had yesterday. Well, we had quesadillas, but yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up an article for when people do start coming in. Um, close some of this. Okay. And if anybody wants to share the live on any of their socials, please feel free to do that. I'm gonna take the time to share it real quick. To Twitter. Sorry about my typing. I know everybody can hear it. Okay. So I got that done. Hey, Killshot, how are you? So I know this case has been like talked about so much in the last 24 hours, 48 hours. When I first received, I think it was Judy who sent it to me. Um, and I did a short video on it. And then I came across some content on Twitter where people were talking about how neighbors were claiming that he was never missing. So I did another video, on that, and not thinking at the time that it was going to be anything like what it turned out to be. I knew that there were discrepancies. I knew that something was going on with this case, and that there was definitely more to it. But yesterday, whenever the new stuff came out about his mom, I was mind blown. Like, that was the last thing I expected. So I definitely wanted to talk about it, and hear your guys' thoughts on it. And also, if there's something I'm missing, I have like 3 articles that I've found, um, because there's some things that one of the guys says, the guy who did like the press conference type thing, the community activist, Quanell X. He speaks about a time when Rudy had taken his mother's vehicle and had even gotten into an accident. And I have yet to find an article like talking about that. So if anybody knows anything about that accident and like when that happened, you can email it to me, or if you're in Discord, you can DM it to me. But that was something I wanted to touch up on because I didn't know, anything about the accident. I just heard the guy talking about it. Hey MJ, how are you? Hi Sway, welcome in. Thank you guys for joining. The only way I can think about this case is that his abuse started long before 17. Oh yeah, I mean, you would have to think and wonder. I mean, if he ran away, because they said initially he ran away, and when he came back home, that's when she started like telling him, that he was wanted or whatever, and that if he left the house or whatever, he was going to go to jail for a long time. So she like brainwashed him into to remaining inside the home. So there's just a lot to wonder about. There's a lot of info on Facebook. Yeah, I haven't even gotten into all the Facebook stuff. There always tends to be a lot of drama, but I'm definitely gonna check out. If there's anything factual out there, I'll see. But so you think it's all a hoax? I don't know. The way that guy was talking about how Rudy was just kind of really quiet, um, didn't want to say much at all, but when he finally was able to speak alone without his mother around, he had a lot to say. So I don't think that he would make something like that up, but that's just my opinion. I don't know. I'm gonna get into the article. Let me put this on full screen. Okay, put it a little bit bigger. Okay, so missing Rudy Farias' mother kept him hidden and abused him for 8 years. Counselor claims, I heard horrific things from that young man, and I didn't want him to see me shedding tears, but I couldn't hold them back. And this is the guy that I was talking about that did like the interview. I don't know why it's not playing, but I think he does speak about it in here. Let me refresh and see. Oh, so I don't know why the video isn't playing, but I'll just do some reading. Okay, so Rudy Farias spent the 8 years his mother claimed he was missing, hidden in her home and being abused by her, a community leader who interviewed Mr. Farias along with Houston Police Department officers has claimed. Mr. Farias made headlines earlier this week when his mother, Janie Santana, told reporters that he had been found following his disappearance on March 6th of 2015. Miss Santana claimed that she had been informed by law enforcement that her son was found beaten outside of a church. So it's like that is extreme whenever you're going to play along with the fact that, oh, my son has been found after all this time, whenever he's actually been with her this entire time. The mom had to have broken him as a child to have that kind of control. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot that you can think about and speculate on and wonder like exactly how long he was really enduring all of this stuff. Okay, make this a little bit bigger. Authorities announced they would be interviewing Mr. Farias, who was reportedly nonverbal, according to his mother, on Wednesday before claims made by neighbors that he was never missing raised questions about Miss Santana's account of events. Concerning allegations have now emerged against Miss Santana after HPD officers and counselor Quanell X separated Mr. Farias from his mother to question him about where he had been these past 8 years. I heard horrific things. Okay, so that's what I read earlier from that young man. Um, he said no child should ever be treated like that by their own mother. The counselor claimed that Mr. Farias said his mother SA'd and physically abused him, forced him to take hallucinogenic mushrooms, and kept him hidden in the home during the time she claimed he was missing and publicly pleaded for his safe return. That's like a whole nother level of like you're claiming that your child's missing. You did a public plea for his return, and all that time he was under your care. They're saying she knew he was there at the church before the cops did. Wow. And didn't they say there's another article I read in here? I think I'm going to cover it where he was like, it appeared that he had been like beaten and he even had like blood in his hair. So, what exactly happened to him? Did he try to run away and she beat him before he got out of the out of the home? These and this is just my speculation and my thoughts because I don't have enough information. The entire family dynamics are odd. As you dig further, it becomes even odder. Huh. Well, MJ, you know how to get in touch with me, and if you find anything that I can dig into, just a link or whatever, and I can do my own research, I'll do that. But either way, I'm going to definitely be digging into this. Also, how did she manage to take him to work all the time and no one reported her? Right. They said he went to work with her all the time. Like, did these people not realize a long time ago that he wasn't really missing? Like, why didn't someone speak up? Did I watch the presser today? Someone did send it to me. I'm just not going to play it on my live. Um, but if I can find it on a news channel, I'll look into it, MJ. Kristen said, "Hey, all that just joined. It seemed as though everything changed for Rudy upon the death of Rudy's sibling. However, I suspect abuse was ongoing prior to 17." Yeah, see, I did read about the fact that he had lost a sibling. It's just to know, like you said, what else did he go through? What else has he endured before the age of 17? There was a reason why he ran away. She asked for large sums of money to go to Mexico to look. What? So she went to that extent. That is that is yeah, something's wrong with that. And like have they said anything about her being charged with anything? I mean, I would assume that there has to be some kind of repercussions for this. I haven't heard anything about the mom being held accountable for anything yet. I know that it's all ongoing and it's kind of new. It's all unfolding daily, but I mean, I would think that there will be some kind of something for her doing this to her child. Okay, so Mr. Cornell X said that Mr. Farias initially ran away when he went missing in 2015. So see, that's what I mean. If he ran away when he went missing when he was 15, in 2015, sorry, there has to be something that was going on that made him run away. Now, it could have been like Kristen was saying, something to do with the loss of his sibling. But for her to do everything she's done for these last 8 years, I don't think it just started then. So in 2015, when he ran away, he returned home just 2 days later. Miss Santana then allegedly told him that he would have to go into hiding and would be arrested if he ever tried to run away again. And this is the guy that does a meeting with him. I don't know why the video is not popping up, but it did for me earlier. So she brought him back to the house and hid him in the home. And initially, whenever investigators would come, she would hide him in the house. He claimed he just kept saying, I don't want to go to jail. So he was under the assumption that he had to stay in hiding. He couldn't speak up when these investigators showed up at his home. He was terrified of going to jail because she made him believe that. Oh, thank you, Kristen, for sharing it. Without Rudy's disclosures and evidentiary exams, the DA does not have anything solid. Oh my goodness. But Rudy is the one speaking, right? Rudy is the one that has spoken out on what's been going on. That is insane. That someone can get away with doing this to their child. Well, okay, so what about the fact, Kristen, that whenever he was talked to, um, without his mother present, and he did disclose some of the horrible details, why are they not able to use any of that for charges on her? That just blows my mind that she can possibly get away with this. Like that's not okay. Janie Santana, mother of the formerly missing Rudy Farias, collected more than $2,000 in what GoFundMe has determined to be an improper campaign. Max, I'm not going to attempt his last name, Getty, the beneficiary of the campaign. Wow. Well, at least they determined it to be improper. So that money, will she have to pay that back? Like, how does that work? If Ellie knew he was not missing, but did not suspect nor provide intervention, but they can prove it was not the case, then Ellie can be held accountable. Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, it does Ellie, do we know for sure that law enforcement didn't know he was missing? Or is that something that like people are speculating? Not only did he lose his brother a while back, but lost his father as well. Oh, that's horrible. Welcome in, crazy mama. So he's been inconsistent in his disclosures. I wonder if it's just because he's so terrified that he's had it ingrained in him that he can't speak the truth. Like he's maybe worried for what could happen to him because she's told him that for so long that he believes it. Uh, that's sad. I don't think he spoke to the cops. He needs to say it to the cops, not Quanell. See, I need to find the video because I thought that Quanell said that an investigator was there also, but I'm not 100% sure. Ellie stated Rudy didn't make those statements about his mom, but Mr. X said Ellie was in the room. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I thought I heard that there was a law enforcement officer in the room. But either way, like none of this makes sense. It's so crazy because the first headlines were like missing for 8 years and found, and like that's a great thing because you never want any of these cases to go cold. And he was found after 8 years and he was alive, and we didn't know all the circumstances, but for it to turn into this, this is like insane to me. So Quanell can report what Rudy said, but Rudy needs to back up those statements for prosecution. Right. So I mean, I would think some kind of therapy needs to be done for sure. Um, Counseling and all that stuff. And yeah, he definitely needs to sit down with an investigator and be consistent in what he's talking about. He is probably scared to death. Exactly. And he doesn't know who to trust. That's what I'm saying. He's been told by his mom for so long, like, these are the guys that he needs to avoid. These are the guys that are going to put you away for a long time. You need to stay in hiding. So when he was found, and then think about it, all of this is all happening so quickly, and it's investigators, it's law enforcement, he is probably scared to death. He doesn't know who to trust. I mean, he believed everything his mom told him. Uh, Within days, Santana's neighbors spoke with local outlet KTRK to say Farias had been living with his mother for years and spending time with others in the neighborhood. Yeah, so that's exactly what I did my video on, because the first video I did was more like, found safe, and I was excited that we had that kind of case. And then I came across Twitter stuff that was saying that what the neighbors said, and that's what my second video was about, where I was like, there's something up with this story. And then yesterday I found out everything about the mother being involved, and it was just like, okay, what? Yeah, this is going to be one of those really confusing twist and turn cases. And I guess we'll learn more as he talks more. Um, so right here it says Mr. Farias allegedly said he was tired of living like a slave, also claiming that Miss Santana reportedly brought him to work with her and made her take on her workload. Wow. So this is his missing persons flyer from 2015. So on here it said 17-year-old Rudolph Rudy Farias the fourth. Is it the fourth? Wow. Was last seen near Tidwell and Park Drive around 6:30 p.m. on Friday, March 6, 2015. He was wearing blue jeans, a black t-shirt, gray cotton gloves, and brown shoes. At the time Rudy went missing, he was walking his two dogs. The dogs have been found, but Rudy is still missing. Rudy has an injured right leg and walks with a slight limp. He suffers from depression, PTSD, and anxiety. He has attempted suicide in the past. It is possible he is disoriented as he has not been taking his medication. So he was without, well, I would say he was without his medication, but obviously he was home, so he had his medication. He's also asthmatic, but is not in possession of his inhaler. According to his mother, he is very wary around strangers. If you have seen Rudy or have information about his missing, and then they had the numbers for them to call. And this is what I was saying. They even had Texas EquiSearch involved. I mean, did no one check the home? Like, where was he whenever she initially reported him missing? Did they not check the home? Hmm. The mother is like multiple people. She has like 18 accounts. What in the world? I think the mother is a mother who would fake that her child had an illness to get money. Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. That Munchausen's by proxy thing, like that's a real thing. This is what I thought too. I actually thought he was like 15, but I mean, he could be 17. I haven't heard anything that the date of birth was wrong or his age, but I initially did think it was 15, but I was getting it mixed up with 2015. But I see what you're saying. He does look like he could be a little younger than 17. Mom has many aliases and her behaviors have been sus for decades. Wow, you guys have been digging into it. I knew about like you know, the information that has been presented to me as far as articles and such, but I haven't dug into it, like the mom's background and those kinds of things. So, wow. Someone called it Stockholm syndrome. Mm, yeah, I could. I mean, yeah, because he was afraid of her. Obviously, she was a controlling, narcissistic manipulator. Like she did all these things to her child. So, yeah, I could see that. Hey, Wisco. Okay, let me finish reading. Let me see if they have anything else on here. She was giving him drugs. She was punishing him by locking him in a room over and over, an emotional Mr. Quanell X said as he held back tears. She convinced him that law enforcement wanted to put him in jail, that law enforcement was looking for him because he ran away, and that because he ran away, he was going to go to prison. So, can you imagine when they found him at the church after he escaped and he did run away again? He's probably thinking with all of this going on that he's going to go to prison. So yeah, it's probably going to take him a little bit before he does open up and tell the truth. Mr. Quanell X went on to say that Mr. Farias managed to steal his mother's car and ran away sometime last week before he crashed the vehicle. Okay, so there's the information I was looking for. So last week he did steal his mother's car and ran away and then ended up crashing the vehicle. Mr. Farias was later found outside a church at the intersection of 76th and Avenue K. Yeah, MJ, I'm learning that there's a whole lot to this case. And I honestly thought it was just been found after 8 years. We were going to hear maybe what he went through or things like that, but I never expected this. I don't know the answer to this. Maybe someone in chat does. Does anyone know what age the brother was when he passed away? So they know that he was already graduated. So, hmm. Mr. Cornell X went on to say that Mr. Farias managed to. Oh, I already read that. My bad. The Houston Police Department said in a statement that it will not be commenting on the allegations against Ms. Santana. Detectives with our missing persons unit interviewed Mr. Rudy Farias, 25, and his mother today. So it is detectives with the missing persons unit that interviewed him. So there was definitely a detective that was involved in the questioning. While there are reports of some of the content of the interviews being released, our detectives are not in a position at this time to discuss specifics of the interviews or if the content being released is entirely factual. More details will be released on Thursday. Okay, so I need to find the Thursday like press conference. Hold on, y'all. Let me find. Okay, let me share this one instead. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is stop and commentate on some of this. I mean, most of you have probably seen it, so I'm not gonna play the entire thing, but I just want to play a part of it. Let's see. Before I do that, I wonder if brother was running away from the mother. I don't know. That's something that we can look into. So speeding, no alcohol involved, and helmet was worn. Hmm. Sway says her gut says that they both are lying. It makes you just wonder. Like, I mean, like I said, I think he needs to do extensive therapy and counseling and all of that. They're gonna have to get to the bottom of this to find out what in the world is really going on. That press conference was crazy. So Let me play some of this and then if it'll play. It don't look like it's gonna play. Of course, we gotta have technical difficulties. Let me try to find the press conference. I wonder why the video won't freaking play. So this is something I hadn't seen. He was allowed to visit with some of the neighbors under an assumed name. Okay, these neighbors have obviously seen him and know who he is. Changing his name doesn't change what he looks like. How did these neighbors not report something like, hey, he's not really missing, like years ago? She believed that after so many years, people have forgotten about the case and that under an assumed name and convinced him to use that name, nobody would put two and two together, never told anybody what was going on. During the conference, X said Farias even has scars over his body. In an off camera interview, Fox 26 spoke with Rudy's okay, there's a typo on their part. Rudy Farias' mother on Wednesday. She said Rudy was kidnapped and taken to Mexico with a bag over his head 8 years ago. The mother added Rudy walked back to Houston following the moon to go north. The mother also spoke about receiving death threats since the story first came out. She said she was going to the hotel for her own safety. She also said she wanted to end her son's interrogation with police because she said he had been through a lot and wasn't completely with it. See, this makes me think she just didn't want him to talk. That's just my thoughts. Houston authorities are still currently investigating the allegations, and a news conference is scheduled to take place Thursday. Yeah, so I'm going to have to find the press conference. Okay, KHOU 11 was the presser. And yeah, there was a billboard. Right. His face was out there. So I don't understand how it took 8 years for someone to speak up. I mean, nobody did until he was found by the church. So I'm not understanding. Thank you for that, crazy mom. I'm gonna go look it up. Sorry, y'all. Just give me a minute. See if I can find the press conference. Okay. I think this is it. I'm just gonna have to stop and commentate over it a bit. We're gonna talk about it as they um, give details and all that stuff. Okay, so let's play some of this.
Now, we are learning new details about the investigation into the disappearance of Rudy Farias, who has recently been found. Houston police addressing serious allegations of what's been happening with Rudy for the last 8 years. They wrapped up that press conference just moments ago. Adam Bennett is at HPD headquarters and joins us with more. Adam.
So it says that they did do a lot of questioning. Let me try to get to the press conference. Are they going to show it? Okay.
Held his own press conference announcing that Farias hadn't really been missing for 8 years. Quanell X told reporters that Farias' mother called him for help and asked him to come to a hotel where she and her son were planning to meet with police.
So is there an actual press conference with like law enforcement, or is it the only press conference they show is the one by Quanell? Let's see.
Quanell X says Farias told detectives his mother drugged him and that he suffered physical and sexual abuse. Today, detectives disputed that.
who has
Oh god, I went back to the beginning by accident. Sorry, but yeah, it is going to be an actual press conference. So
Physical and sexual abuse. Today, detectives disputed that.
Now, based on Rudy's interview, there were no reports of sexual abuse reported. Um,
okay, so the detective is saying that there was no reported abuse. So yeah, I see what Kristen's saying is that it's conflicting. Like he told Quanell one thing, and maybe he's said different things to police. But then again, you have to keep in mind that he could be terrified of police officers because of what his mom told him. Like, what if he is just afraid to speak the truth because he's afraid of what he's going to get from his mom? He may not think or know that he's, protected if he speaks the truth. He might think that he's going to be released back to his mom. And then what's going to happen if he tells the truth? That's where my thinking go. That's where I go in my mind because of the fact that he was so fearful of spending his life in prison because of what his mom told him. So how did oops, I meant this one. How did she support him all these years? Um yeah, I mean the GoFundMe probably helped, and then it said that she went to work. So I don't know. This this is very very strange. Let's listen. See what else they have to say.
if there is a disclosure made, we will continue to investigate. Currently, the investigation is active and there are new leads coming in. We'll
Okay, so he said if anything, if there is a disclosure made on that allegation, that they would, definitely update us or whatever. And it is ongoing. Let me see what he said right before that.
and there are new leads coming in. We'll continue to follow those leads.
Okay, so they are following up on leads. There are leads coming in. I mean, can you imagine how many people probably now, saw his face and is like, oh my gosh, no, he's been alive this whole time. Like the leads that they're getting, that could lead to the actual truth. And the mom could maybe eventually face charges if there's enough consistent statements that can corroborate the story. Um, if he's 25 and lying to police, he will be in trouble. Oh, geez. Yeah, you're right. And I see what you're saying. Like, if they're both lying and it's a money thing, yeah. I mean, but I would think they both could get in trouble. I just always try to not just believe what like the headlines are saying or anything, but just trying to look at the situation from the information I'm given. And if he was being abused long before 17, um, obviously, he could have been way younger, and she's brainwashed him all this time. Maybe, like Sway said, maybe they could both be lying. But what if he's doing it because this is all he knows? This is what he taught. This is this is what you say. This is right. You know what I mean? Like, what if he really has been manipulated for so long by her that he feels and believes that he's doing or saying the right thing? I don't know. Like, if his statements are changing, based on who he's talking to, those are red flags to me. Like I said, I think it's going to take a lot of counseling and a lot of interrogating to get to the bottom, to get to the truth. It's not a crime to be missing, they say. Right. The the missing part is not a crime, of course, if you have a missing child. But if she lied about him being missing because it said he ran away for 2 days and then he came back home, and then she hides him inside the home, locks him in rooms sometimes, if any of that is true, then it's a crime for everything she was doing to him. I mean, she was holding him hostage basically, robbing him of his life, like doing everything she did to him, and he thinks like this is how life is, this is how it's supposed to be. He was terrified of going to prison. I don't know.
Right now, detectives tell us Rudy Farias is safe and with his mother by choice. They also tell us that investigators have reached out to adult CPS and connected Rudy with victim services as well.
Okay, so at least he has been connected with someone, an outside source with a CPS. So that'll be another um, avenue he can take to maybe speak the truth, hopefully. But yeah, this case is bizarre. I wanted to hear more of the press conference, but it doesn't look like that's in
Sherman.
here.
Lots of questions still reported missing in 2015. That's 8 years ago. He was found alive on Saturday, just 25 minutes away from the last place he'd reportedly been seen. Ugochi Iloka joins us now live.
So he was only 25 minutes away from home.
Yeah, Sherman, we've been out here all morning in this neighborhood, really waiting to see if she will return back to this location. Also, in that press conference, investigators said that they got a call about a possible burglary here last night that is now a part of their investigation.
Okay, so there was reports of a burglary. That's the first I'm hearing about that part. I think he's afraid of the cops because of mother, if that really is his mother. Yeah, that's what I'm saying is that fear that she has put into him is what I keep going back to with his mother. Sorry, with his mother by choice. But and I see what you're saying. Like maybe he did return home and he stayed because he was scared. But the moral side of it, and I know you can't charge someone because of they're morally wrong, but for her to do everything she did to him or say the things she said to him to make him believe that he could never leave home, that he had to hide when investigators showed up, those things are wrong. And if there is, in fact, SA involved and her drugging him, keeping him drugged, I just hope that the right thing is done here. I hope that someone is held accountable. And if they are both lying, then that's a whole nother sick and twisted case. Like, so it's like we don't know where this is gonna go, honestly. Hi, Michael. Welcome back. Hopefully, he will disclose and utilize APS, but if he doesn't, they have no choice but to put more emphasis on active cases where clients are benefiting from the resources given. Yeah, and I completely understand and get that. Um, yeah, he has to be the one to speak his truth. So if he is lying about anything, I don't know if he's gonna come out with that. No, they said he is now with his mother by choice. Oh, I see. But what if? And this is just like me playing devil's advocate. Like what if because of everything he's going through, he feels like he has to stay with her? She's gonna keep him safe. She's gonna keep him away from this. Like it's all he knows. It doesn't mean it's right, but what if it's all he knows and he thinks it's the right thing? Talking to all these people that are strangers to him, especially law enforcement, it just makes you wonder if he will ever open up, or is he just going to have to continue in this lifestyle because he doesn't want to speak the truth. No problem, Killshot. Have a safe shift tonight. Um, yeah, it's definitely a crazy case.
I'm going to step out this way. This is Rudy Farias' mom's house. We know that investigators, HPD, were here at the house this morning when no one was home. We also know Janie Santana, which is Rudy Farias' mom's car, was seen in the neighborhood.
So there were investigators or law enforcement there when no one was home. So, I think they're going to do at least a thorough investigation. At least we can only hope they do. But someone needs to get to the bottom of this. They need to implement someone and some help for him away from his mother. I mean, he's an adult now, so he can be away from his mother during interrogations and all that stuff. Um, I just hope that he speaks his truth, whatever that truth may be. If he is lying about it and he's been taught that this is this is how to do things, then hopefully they'll get him the help he needs regardless of the situation.
Yesterday. Now, HPD says the DA is not filing charges on her for making a false report regarding her son going missing 8 years ago, at least as of now.
So, making a false report on him being missing, she's not being charged with that, with anything to do with that. So, they know that she fraudulently reported him missing, yet there's no repercussions for that. I mean, there was even a billboard put up, like, I think it was MJ that said that, whoever said that. There was a billboard put up. There were flyers everywhere. It's like everyone knew that he was quote unquote missing, and she lied about that. Right. And I did hear those words, at least not as of now. So, yeah, there's probably going to be a lot more to unfold in this case. Let's see.
Also, we ran into a neighbor who spoke to us this morning and says he called police just after midnight when he saw Rudy's mom and the fact that she was in that car driving up to her house. As soon as she saw him, he says that she got spooked and then took off. That's when he started following her and called police. He tells me that he is Rudy's friend and he explains how he knows her.
So he did the right thing by calling the police. Um, but like I said, there's so many moving parts in this, and it's just gonna get more and more. We're gonna learn more as this unfolds.
Knows him.
He been around. Me and him actually started talking in November. But he been around here long. I seen him since I've been here a year. I mean, I'm like, how is he missing if he's here?
Yeah. So see, there are people around him that knew. How is he missing? Because he's been around. Yeah, Michael, I agree. I don't know about the movie part. I think it's really distasteful. That's just my opinion. Whenever they make movies on cases like this, maybe some of them, but when it's Lifetime, like the way they did the Gabby Petito story, I've just been it rubs me the wrong way. Now a documentary or something like that with facts, that's one thing, but the ones who just grab whatever they can and make movies about it, like that bothers me. But the second part of your statement, he is going to need to be in therapy forever. And wow, that's one sick mother, I'll just say. But yeah, definitely lots of therapy. They might be waiting to file all charges against her once they know more. Yeah, and that's what I said. This is all unfolding every day. There's going to be a lot more to this case.
Yeah, lots being filed against Rudy's mom. As but again, we know that charges are not being filed against Rudy's mom as of now. We also are hearing from family members. They spoke after the press conference outside of HPD, saying they're insisting that Rudy was abused. So lots of details. And
So we do have family members that are speaking up and saying that he was abused. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot more to unfold with this case. Let me see if I can find. Oh, let's see. And again, I won't play the whole entire thing through. I'll stop and commentate. I can't find one that plays the actual video. Like, what is going on? Let's see. This is today. Okay, I think I found one. Yeah, no worries, Michael. Okay. Get my brain together here. All right, let's see if this is only a minute and 10 seconds long, so I don't know if it's the full. Hold on.
We're discussing facts related to 25-year-old Rudy Farias, who was reported missing on March 7th, 2015. He was 17 years old when his mother reported him missing. During the 8-year time frame where he was missing, investigators followed up on many tips, leads, collected evidence, proving that Rudy was not missing during the 8-year period.
Wait, okay, did they just say during the 8 years they did follow up with tips, leads, and prove that he was not missing? So law enforcement knew that he wasn't missing? If family members knew, can't they be held accountable as well? Right, if they knew, I mean, I don't know if they can be held accountable, but why didn't someone report the abuse? That's my question. If multiple family members knew, why didn't they report it? Let me rewind this just a little bit.
Was not missing during the 8-year period. Many of these facts
Yeah, it says so they knew he was not missing.
proving that Rudy was not missing during the 8-year period. Many of these facts included contacts and statements with relatives, friends, neighbors, and medical professionals. Rudy was recently identified as having previous HPD interactions, meaning that he made contact with patrol officers out on the street. However,
So there have been other instances where he made contact with HPD. I guess they mean in the past or during the 8 years. So confusing. You would think sway, but unless they were part of a false imprisonment or other acts, they don't have to unless they were mandated reporters between the age of 17 to 18. Right. But the false imprisonment, like for the mom, like I'm just so if that's true, like I'm just so angry at the mom. If she did this to this child, it could have been way before 17. So y'all are saying now he was 18, not 17? Oh my gosh. Um, Family members may have also been in fear. Yeah, should be excused, but a possible reason, right? Hold on one second. All right, sorry about that. I was talking to my son. Um, did they not say he was 25 now? 25 minus 8 is 17. Right, that's what I'm thinking. It was, he was 17.
When we go get it, just take your card.
Mhm. In the correct. In the 8 years, he gave different names and reports to HPD. Now they're saying he is 18. Where are y'all seeing that? Welcome back, Sifa. That he is 18. Where did they make that statement? They are saying the mother purposely gave the wrong age of 17. Oh my goodness. So this is insane. On the missing persons flyer, she had his date of birth, which he was born in 97, I think it said. So he would be turning 26. I think his birthday is in October. Yeah, I don't know, but this is wild.
However, during these contacts, fictitious names and date of births were given.
So he's been changing his name and his date of birth with every contact that he's had with law enforcement. So then I still just keep going back to the fact that he felt that he had to do this because his mom made him believe that if you give your real name, if you give your right date of birth, they're going to arrest you for running away from home, kind of thing. Like I'm just going based off of what he allegedly said. I don't know if he said it. I don't know if he meant what he said. I'm only going off of what I see and hear in the articles and in the information that we've been given. And it's like, I don't see him as being, I see him as being the victim here, as far as right now, because I don't have anything to prove otherwise. But if she was holding him there, making him believe he had to stay there, and all these other things that were going on, then I think it's going to take a lot of therapy and stuff to get to the bottom of what truly happened to him, especially if he was drugged up, often, however much she gave him and how many times she gave it to him. Um, like, there's just so much. There's so much that's going to come from this case. Then he wasn't locked up the whole 8 years. Right. And that's what I'm saying. I don't think he was locked up the entire time. I just think that the times that he was out and about and he had these encounters, I think that his his automatic go-to response was to lie about who he was and his age, because he had it in his mind that he was going to go straight to prison if he told the truth. Um, I don't know how true the statements are that he made to Quanell. Those statements, and then y'all said he changed them up, a little, and like he said at the press conference, he did the same thing. He changed it up a little. So what's true and what's not? That's what we have to wait for. That's the information that we're gonna have to wait to prove if any of that is true or not. You should start streaming the trials live. Yeah. Once I get over that one milestone, that one little roadblock, that'll be a lot easier to do. But as of right now, yeah, YouTube is just super strict with certain things. Um, I don't think Mr. X would have just made up, right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, but if he's changed his story when telling it to, another investigator or whatnot, those are the things where they're going to have to get to the bottom of. Will he eventually tell the truth and stay consistent in his stories when told to different people? Or is he constantly going to keep changing it because that's what he grew up thinking that he has to do? Like, he has to lie and he has to do this and that. I mean, the mom could totally get away with doing this and he could continue having to live in this nightmare. So I would hope that he would eventually tell the truth. Yeah, Killshot, I need to get you and Kristen, I need to get y'all um, a list of my Nightbot commands, but remind me to do that at some point. I don't want to forget.
misleading the officers, and Rudy would remain missing. In fact, both Janie, Rudy's mother, and Rudy himself gave fictitious names while interacting with various patrol officers.
So see if the mom is also giving fake names and such when talking to officers, then it makes you wonder, what was she hiding? She obviously had something she was hiding, and she taught him to do the same thing, which is sickening. If he had that many drugs, I'm sure he can't speak well enough to tell a story. Not if she is in the room. Right. It completely needs to be away from her, completely separate from her when questioned. And I do think it's going to take a little bit of time. Yeah, that's fine. So if I just wanted to look through them real quick because there's some that I might get rid of. I only had for a little bit of time when a lot of things were going on, and when people, we had a lot of trolls and all that stuff going around. So I'm just going to go through the commands real quick and then get a screenshot to send out to my mods. Okay, no problem, Killshot. Thank you for supporting even when you're at work.
Currently, the DA has declined any charges at this time for making fictitious reports and failure to ID. Now, based on Rudy Farias, who was
Oh, always do that. But he said um, false ID. So yeah, the false identification.
acting with various patrol officers. Currently, the DA has declined any charges at this time for making fictitious reports and failure to ID. Now, based on Rudy's interview, there were no reports of sexual abuse.
Hmm. Okay, no, I don't want this to start. No. So yeah, it does seem like there's a lot of discrepancies and a lot of things to work through with this case. They need to let him have time. He needs someone that he feels comfortable around, and that will take time. Yeah, definitely. Okay. See, and it just says allegations that he was being held captive. So yeah. So as new information does come forth about him, I'm gonna have to update you guys because I'm also looking into more about Winter Smith. I did a video on her. If you haven't seen it, you can check that one out. That is a 2-year old that was recently found, and the suspect is in custody. So I'm writing all this down so I don't forget. So I can try to keep up with updates and all that stuff. I like to, always try to update on any cases I've covered. Noel Rodriguez Alvarez is one that always remains close to my heart, but nothing new has come out for Noel as far as we know, as far as I know, as of, recently. The other thing I wanted to touch up on was Chad Doerman. And if you remember, I did a live on him. He is the guy that uh, unalived his children, execution style, in the yard. They said it was a full admission. The very first day that he appeared in court, um, he did plead not guilty, and just a horrible horrible case. I mean, to me, it should be open and shut. Like, he did it, he confessed to it. Like, move on. Like, let's get him where he needs to be. But so the judge denies full gag order for father charged with murdering his 3 sons. So the Clermont County father charged with gunning down his 3 sons returned to court Wednesday for his pre-trial hearing. The defense team for Chad Doerman attempted to obtain a protection order to limit the number of details prosecutors reveal in this case. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. During the pretrial, Clermont County Common Pleas Court Judge Richard Farink said he will not issue a broad protection order and that both the defense and state need to have caution when speaking with the media. Judge Farink later issued the following orders regarding the defense's request for a protective order. So this is the protective order that the judge did grant. This matter was before the court on July 5th for consideration of the defendant's motion for a protective order. The defendant was present with counsel. The state was represented by the county prosecutor, and that's Mark Tacove, and assistant prosecutors Lara Barron Allen. So there's a defense team in place. The court has considered the defendant's motion as well as statements made on the record by his counsel in the state of Ohio and finds that the motion is well taken. Accordingly, it is hereby ordered that counsel for the parties shall comply with the following orders. So this is just pertaining to the attorneys in Chad Doerman's case. They may not discuss the merits of this case with representatives of the news media, which is included but is not limited to any print media, television media, internet reporting media of any nature, and the like. So it's mainly with the prosecutors, the attorneys speaking to media. They may not discuss facts of this case that are not in publicly filed records. They may not discuss evidence in this case unless it is in open court and on the record. So pretty much it's, yeah, like they can't talk to media. So yeah, I don't understand it either, Killshot. The day before when he first appeared in court, like they clearly said it was a full admission. Like he admitted to it. And I mean, there were witnesses, and how do you plead not guilty? I don't understand. Yep, I agree, Sway. They will go with insanity. But I mean, when they arrested him, he was sitting on the steps like nothing happened. He was calm. He didn't look like he was insane. I don't know how they're going to try to get away with insanity on this one because it was freaking odd the way he was acting when they got there to arrest him. Not even sure why there needs to be a trial. He is straight up guilty, wasting time and resources. That's what I'm saying. How do you what? So this is just pictures from trial. So it was the first preliminary hearing since he was indicted on 21 counts involving the shooting deaths of his 3 young sons, ages 3, 4, and 7. And his next court date is September 22nd. So I'm going to write that one down. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I'm working while I'm presenting. So yeah, this is just a lot of photos from court today. This is the judge. Oh, those poor babies. So they had their funeral. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through the pics for y'all. Because I know at the very first hearing, he was in tears. Out of guilt, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know. Just assuming, like, it's like it's too late to cry now, you know? He didn't care when his children were crying and screaming and running from him and terrified of what he was going to do to them. Like, can you imagine the fear in those poor children? Yes, mom first. They did, or one did anyway. And he hunted the second oldest down. The third one he ripped out of his mother's arms and then killed him. Line him up and knock him down for no reason, right? Yeah, so that was the only update from yesterday's court appearance was the gag order, and then we I mean we might hear something in between now and September, but that's his next trial date is September. Because when he had gotten arrested for unaliving his three kids and sat down on the porch like nothing happened, and maybe the devil made him do it. I mean, yeah, they could. He could claim that. He could claim, like Sway said, he could try to claim insanity that maybe the voices told him to do it. Um, it's sad, sickening, but either way, regardless, as long as he's put away and he can't do this again, I mean, I think that's the best outcome, regardless of how they go about charging him, whatever. As long as he never gets out, then that's some form of justice. So yeah, but I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to close this live out. Um, and if any new details come out with Rudy, which I'm sure there will be, or any of the other cases that I've been covering, I'll usually first maybe try to drop it in a video form and then do a live on it. So, but yeah, thank you again to all of my mods. Y'all are amazing. Thank you for being here, chat. I appreciate all of you. Thank you, Sifa, for helping me in the background. You're a big asset to this channel. All of you are. I'll say it like Killshot says, like we literally wouldn't be a channel if we didn't have all of you guys. So I appreciate you all more than you will ever know. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and end it. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. Stay blessed. Talk to y'all later.